there was a solar flare.
It all happened so fast. Frightened and so alone. You see, I'm developing something interesting. Now, if you can speak...
1, 2, 1, 2, 1. Would you like me to drive?
Try the RV down!
The scene opens in 2031, when Earth, the universe's only habitable planet, has been reduced to endless deserts by a catastrophic solar flare. This film follows the last human as he teaches a machine how to care. 3 words define the journey: teach, trust, let go. I'll break it down, uncover hidden meanings, share flick facts, and tell you whether Finch is worth your time. The unleashed ultraviolet radiation destroys the ozone layer, driving global temperatures to nearly 66 degrees Celsius. At first, people were still able to endure the conditions by remaining indoors inside homes or underground bunkers. However, as time passed, food supplies on Earth began to diminish, forcing people around the world to desperately fight for survival. 10 years later, it is clear that nearly all human civilization has collapsed, leaving behind an engineer named Finch who turns an old factory into his home. Finch was once a talented mechanic who worked with advanced machinery, including robots designed to assist humans with tasks. Now he lives only with Goodyear, his loyal dog found abandoned during a food search, and Dewey, a robot he built himself. Every day, Finch goes out to search for food supplies while wearing a suit resembling an astronaut outfit because Earth's air has become hostile. Suddenly, a powerful sandstorm approaches, forcing him to retreat back to his shelter. After returning, he immediately cleans everything with a special liquid to remove sand contamination from the outside air. Finch always collects books whenever he finds them while searching for food, possibly to ease boredom and keep his mind stable in this chaotic world. Recently, Finch feels that ultraviolet radiation is weakening his health, so he builds another robot to assist with heavy labor and care for Goodyear. Finch processes all the information from the books and installs it in his software until he finally succeeds in activating the robot and making it obey commands.
Having a fling again, younger than spring again. Don't let her run, bud. Don't let her sunbug. 'Cause Papa loves Mama tonight.
At first, the robot experiences an error, but Finch repairs it so two-way communication can function properly. Finch programs 3 fundamental rules for the robot: obey all commands, never harm humans, and protect Goodyear when Finch is absent. A massive storm is detected approaching as Finch repairs his communications system, and after mapping it, he learns it will last 40 days. Finch knows he cannot survive that long with limited supplies, so he plans a long journey to San Francisco before the storm arrives within 24 hours. Finch quickly installs equipment onto the robot so it can walk and move like a human, counting its steps carefully.
1, 2, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Turning, 2, 1, 2, good.
2, 1, change.
After completing preparations, they immediately depart using a van modified by Finch to withstand extreme weather. Along the way, they encounter no other people, as most areas have turned into deserts with temperatures exceeding 70 degrees Celsius. Even regions that were once green forests have transformed into endless barren wastelands. Far from the storm, Finch stops to repair the robot after noticing an issue with its head. Finch takes the robot outside to teach it what actions are allowed and forbidden. Unbeknownst to them, the storm advances faster than expected as they continue moving. They travel as far as possible to escape the storm, but Finch's van proves too old to outrun it. Finch and the others exit the van and secure it with pegs as the storm approaches. The storm destroys nearly everything in its path, including Finch's van, but one peg holds firmly and keeps it grounded despite violent winds. One of the van's tires is torn apart by the storm's force. It becomes clear that the robot possesses strength beyond Finch's expectations, easily lifting the van to replace the damaged tire. Finch considers giving the robot a name, noticing its excitement at the idea of having one. After joking briefly, Finch welcomes the robot into the world and names it Jeff.
Jeff.
Jeff?
I like the name Rover.
Really?
Have I said something funny?
Welcome to the world, Jeff.
The next morning, Jeff, Dewey, and Goodyear bark loudly at one another, waking Finch in frustration. It turns out Jeff has been learning dog language because he feels disconnected from Goodyear. Finch explains that trust must be built through unity, meaning Jeff must first bond with Goodyear. Finch hopes Jeff will eventually earn Goodyear's trust as Finch's health continues to worsen daily. Soon after, they stop at a tavern to search for food. Jeff is tasked with guarding the van, but curiosity leads him to drive it, resulting in a crash that angers Finch. Finch reminds Jeff that human and animal bodies differ from metal ones, as they burn instantly under direct sunlight without protection. Jeff looks saddened, realizing he only wanted to help Finch. Eventually, Jeff learns to drive properly under Finch's guidance. When night falls, they admire the night sky illuminated by the aurora borealis. Jeff suggests traveling at night without sunlight, but Finch warns that greater dangers exist, including starving humans. The following morning, Finch suffers from a severe fever, so Jeff takes the initiative to travel into town to search for medicine. When Jeff discovers a hospital, he tells Dewey to stand guard downstairs while Jeff goes upstairs to look for food, medicine, and even finds the jacket Finch once wore himself. Unexpectedly, when Dewey is about to pick up a box of food, the robot accidentally steps on something that completely destroys his body. Finch, who wakes up and cannot find his two robots, immediately heads into town to search for them. But sadly, he arrives too late because Dewey has already been blown to pieces. Finch informs Jeff of what happened, and they leave the area immediately. That night, Finch notices a car following them, so he tells Jeff to drive faster to escape it. They end up hiding inside a tunnel, but because the tunnel is too narrow, their vehicle gets stuck and cannot fully enter. Jeff takes the initiative to push the car until they finally manage to hide from the mysterious vehicle. Once it feels safe, Finch realizes that the solar panels on their car have been damaged, which makes him feel desperate, but Jeff convinces him that they must continue their journey. Jeff is also confident that Finch will guide them to the bridge in San Francisco because Jeff believes Finch can do it. Hearing this, Finch immediately shares a story from his past, recalling a time when humans were more savage than wild animals. Several months after the solar flare disaster, Finch had run out of food and managed to locate some, but he did not dare approach because he saw a little girl searching for food with her mother. Finch initially planned to approach them, but he stopped when he heard the girl's mother tell her to shoot someone. Shortly after that, a car suddenly appeared in front of them, and a mysterious person shot both the mother and daughter, killing them instantly. After the car drove away, Finch approached the scene and found a pink bag, which turned out to contain a puppy he had cared for ever since, named Goodyear. The next day, they continue their journey toward San Francisco when Jeff accidentally bumps into a butterfly, causing him to stop and wake Finch. At first, Finch is confused, but he is shocked when he notices the radiation gauge has suddenly dropped. Finch steps outside and realizes that the effects of the solar flare explosion have ended. He then walks outside without his protective suit and discovers that the sun's rays are no longer burning his skin. While enjoying a meal together, Finch shares a story about his father, who left before he was born, but when Finch was 15, he received a postcard showing the San Francisco Bridge and a message saying his father wanted to see him. Finch worked hard to buy the protective suit he now wears, intending to show it to his father, but he could not go because his mother was ill. Not long after his mother passed away, the solar flare disaster occurred, and Finch was unable to travel to San Francisco to meet his father. After hearing these emotional stories, Jeff invites Finch to continue the journey, but Finch realizes his body is no longer strong enough to go on. Finch teaches Jeff how to play ball with Goodyear when he suddenly coughs up blood, staining his white suit. When Jeff helps Finch back into the car, Finch asks Jeff to shake his hand, but Jeff hugs him instead, knowing Finch does not have much time left. As night falls, Jeff realizes that Finch has died and begins the cremation process according to the instructions Finch programmed into his system. After Finch's death, Jeff feels lost and unsure what to do. But when he sees a hungry Goodyear, he searches for information on how to open canned food. After successfully opening the can, Jeff immediately feeds Goodyear, following Finch's teachings. Slowly but surely, Jeff and Goodyear finally build trust with one another. Jeff then decides to continue the journey to San Francisco with Goodyear. Several years later, wild plants begin growing around a sign with words Jeff created. Jeff then notices a paper hanging on a wire fence stating that several people are safe and doing well nearby. Jeff realizes that some humans survived the solar flare disaster, so he and Goodyear decide to search for them, hoping Jeff can share the story of a human named Finch. Finch isn't about survival. It's about legacy. Finch doesn't fight to live longer. He fights to pass something on. Jeff isn't taught morality. He absorbs it: fear, loss, and empathy. What we give machines isn't wisdom, it's our trauma. Loneliness becomes extinction. Humanity didn't just end, it faded emotionally. Finch is the last carrier of kindness. Try to preserve it before it's gone. Jeff doesn't learn humanity through code. He learns it by witnessing loss. Flick fact number 1. Tom Hanks performed most of his scenes alone, relying on physical markers and voice work later added in post-production, reinforcing the film's themes of isolation. Flick fact number 2. Jeff's design intentionally avoids humanoid realism, emphasizing that humanity is learned behavior, not appearance. Finch isn't about saving the world. It's about leaving something worthy behind. Quiet, intimate, and deeply human, the film strips the apocalypse of heroes and villains and replaces spectacle with responsibility. Intelligence doesn't define humanity here. Care does. What matters isn't who survives, but who we choose to protect and teach along the way. On the Flick verdict scale, this is a must-watch, a soft-spoken sci-fi story that trades explosions for empathy and lingers through its emotional weight. Bottom line, the world doesn't end when people disappear. It ends when no one is left to pass on compassion. Drawn to stories where the end of humanity isn't loud, just inevitable, Finch asks a quiet but brutal question. If kindness has to be taught, was it ever natural, or just survival instinct dressed as morality? This isn't a movie about robots or the apocalypse. It's about legacy, about loneliness, and about what we leave behind when we're gone. Flick Favorites breaks down the movies that linger long after the credits roll. Comment below. If Jeff outlives humanity, does that make him better than us? Or just the last echo of our fear? Like if thoughtful sci-fi hits harder than explosions. Subscribe for more deep, cinematic movie recaps. And stay with Flick Favorites, where stories don't end when the screen fades to black.